Esri Care wasn't just another eye drop on the shelf, it was the beginning of a nightmare for dozens of unsuspecting users. Behind its sterile-looking label lay a product teeming with drug-resistant bacteria, traced back to manufacturing facilities so contaminated they violated multiple safety standards. It wasn't alone. Delum Pharma, Leader, Clear Eyes, Purely Soothing, trusted names all were part of a growing list of recalls as infections, vision loss, and even deaths began to surface. If you're tired of being lied to, if you're ready to expose the truth they don't want you to know, then don't just watch. Join this fight. Hit subscribe right now so you never miss the facts the corporations hope you'll ignore. Every new video pulls back the curtain a little more, and together we're building a movement they can't silence. Subscribe, stay informed, and let's take back control, one truth at a time. These products make it into our homes in the first place. What this crisis reveals is a deep and dangerous failure in both manufacturing oversight and regulatory enforcement. With the FDA often stepping in only after reports of harm, products continue slipping through unchecked, particularly those made in under-regulated overseas plants. The fallout disproportionately affects vulnerable communities, where lower-cost healthcare solutions are more common and safety assumptions are easily made. As the evidence stacks up, one thing is clear: consumers must now take on the burden of verifying product safety themselves. Knowing which brands to trust, identifying recalls, and disposing of questionable products isn't just recommended, it's essential for protecting your vision. They were supposed to help you see better. Instead, they blinded people. They infected people. They killed people. We are now in the middle of a nationwide public health emergency, and it starts with something sitting on bathroom counters and nightstands across America: over-the-counter eye drops. 6 brands pulled from shelves. 6 brands you must stop using immediately. This isn't precautionary. This is a matter of life, vision, and irreversible damage. The FDA and CDC have confirmed contaminated eye drops have already caused permanent blindness and even death. These aren't obscure, underground products. These are commonly used, affordable eye care items that Americans trusted to soothe and protect their vision. That trust has been shattered. Products from Esri Care and Delum Pharma were among the first to trigger national alarms. Their drops weren't just subpar, they were contaminated with drug-resistant bacteria and fungi. Infections linked to these products spread fast and aggressively, leading to severe eye damage, bloodstream infections, and in the worst cases, fatalities. Let's be absolutely clear, this didn't happen by accident. This happened because of filthy manufacturing conditions in facilities that should never have been allowed to produce anything remotely related to medical use. Yet these products made it onto store shelves, untested, unchecked, and untreated. And it's not just one brand or one isolated incident. Other familiar names like Leader, Clear Eyes, and Purely Soothing, brands you'd see in nearly every pharmacy aisle across the country, have also been caught up in this sweeping recall. Contamination, impurities, safety violations. These aren't some rare exceptions. This is a systemic failure of manufacturing oversight and regulatory enforcement. What's worse, most people assume that because a product is sold in a major store, it's safe. That assumption nearly cost people their eyesight, and in some cases, their lives, because many of these drops are imported or manufactured in under-regulated facilities overseas, often in countries where quality control is a mere suggestion, not a standard. The bacteria found in some of these recalled drops is highly resistant to antibiotics. Infections caused by these pathogens can't be easily treated. They can spiral into permanent blindness or enter the bloodstream, leading to life-threatening systemic infections. This is not a warning, it's already happened. Who's most at risk? The elderly, immunocompromised patients, low-income individuals who rely on over-the-counter alternatives instead of costly prescriptions. These are the very people who depended on these products the most, and they've been betrayed by both manufacturers and the regulatory system that was supposed to protect them. The FDA's role in this crisis is deeply troubling. Instead of catching problems early, the agency has once again fallen into its familiar pattern of reacting after harm has already been done. There were no preemptive inspections. There was no early intervention. Instead, American consumers served as unwilling test subjects for products that never should have left the warehouse. This isn't the first time this has happened, and unless something changes, it won't be the last. Outsourcing production is a major part of the problem. Companies looking to maximize profits send manufacturing manufacturing overseas to cut costs, often at the expense of safety, sterility, and transparency. When things go wrong, they don't report it. They don't take accountability. They wait until people get hurt or die before pulling the plug. Let's talk about the real-life consequences. Cases of keratitis, a painful inflammation of the cornea, have surged. Patients have suffered from ulcers, permanent vision loss, and systemic infections that required hospitalization. Some of these infections were so aggressive that patients lost their vision within days of using the contaminated drops. And for what? Because someone cut corners. Because someone decided a few extra dollars mattered more than someone else's eyesight. Now lawsuits are piling up. Victims are demanding answers. Some are suing brands like Alcon, accusing them of negligence and lack of oversight. These legal battles are just beginning, but the damage is already done. What can you do right now? Start by checking your medicine cabinet. If you're using products from EzraCare, Delum Pharma, Leader, Clear Eyes, or Purely Soothing, stop immediately. Check the lot numbers. Look up the official recall list. If your product matches, throw it out. Don't donate it. Don't give it to someone else. Dispose of it safely and responsibly. And if you've used these drops and notice any symptoms, redness, pain, blurred vision, discharge, seek medical attention immediately. Do not wait. Do not self-medicate. Talk to your eye doctor, your primary care provider, or go to urgent care. Your eyes are one of the most vulnerable parts of your body, and untreated infections can escalate quickly. For those looking for safer alternatives, there are reputable options. Brands like Johnson & Johnson, Alcon, and Allergan have more transparent manufacturing practices and stronger safety records. Look for preservative-free single-use vials, which reduce the risk of contamination and avoid the risk of bacterial growth in open bottles. But even with those brands, it's crucial to remain vigilant. Always inspect packaging. Look for expiration dates. If something seems off, don't use it. And if you're unsure, talk to your pharmacist or eye doctor before trying something new. Let's be honest, the system failed. The industry prioritized profit, the regulators reacted too late, and Americans, especially the most vulnerable among us, paid the price. But this doesn't have to happen again. Consumers need to hold these companies accountable, demand better oversight, demand transparency, and above all, demand safety. This isn't just about a few bad batches, it's about a broken system that allows contaminated medical products to reach the public without proper checks, all because someone decided safety was too expensive. The cost of that decision: blindness, hospitalizations, death. So if you or someone you know uses eye drops, spread this message, share this video, talk to your family, double check every bottle in your home. What you do today could protect someone's vision or even their life. Your eyesight is too important to gamble with, and no one should suffer because a company couldn't be bothered to clean its production line. Subscribe for more health alerts and accountability coverage. Comment below if you've been impacted or have concerns. Like and share this with anyone who needs to hear it. Let's protect each other, because clearly, the industry isn't doing it for us. And above all, consult your medical professional before making any changes to your prescriptions or treatment. Your health is worth that extra step. Stay safe, stay informed, stay vigilant. This is not just a one-off mistake, it's the symptom of a larger festering disease, a total breakdown in the way over-the-counter eye care products are monitored, tested, and brought to market in the United States. Let's be blunt, the global supply chain that delivers these products is designed for cost-cutting, not safety. Companies contract out manufacturing to third-party facilities in countries with weak oversight and minimal sanitation standards, where production lines are rarely inspected and quality control is often non-existent. It's cheaper, faster, and more profitable, and nobody in the chain, neither the manufacturers nor the regulators, wants to ask hard questions because the answers would force them to act. That silence has now blinded people. And what happens when the FDA finally does act? They issue a recall, they post a notice, they make it public, after the damage has already happened, after people are lying in hospital beds, after some have already lost their vision, after the lawsuits are filed, then they move. That's not a safety system. That's damage control. It's the same story over and over again. Reactive enforcement. Too little, too late. Whether it's contaminated baby formula, tainted eye drops, or faulty medical devices, the FDA waits until tragedy strikes, and by then, the contaminated products are already in homes, already used, already destroying lives. There's a cold efficiency to how this works. The manufacturer profits, the public suffers, the regulator shrugs, and the next batch goes into production. There is no acceptable reason that a product meant to protect and soothe the human eye, one of the most delicate organs in the body, should be allowed to reach consumers without the highest levels of sterility and safety. The margin for error is zero. Once contaminated drops touch the eye, the infection has a direct route to the bloodstream. That's why we're not just talking about eye irritation or minor reactions. We're talking about keratitis, which can leave permanent corneal scarring, ulcers that burn into the eye and refuse to heal, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, an aggressive bacteria resistant to nearly every antibiotic available, and yes, death. Several people have died from infections linked to contaminated eye drops. That's where we are. And still, no major federal investigation, no sweeping reform of oversight policies, no high-profile hearings, or CEO accountability, just quiet recalls, and a hope that the news cycle moves on before too many people notice. Meanwhile, millions of bottles of potentially contaminated or substandard eye drops are still sitting in bathroom drawers and medicine cabinets across the country because most people haven't heard, most people don't know, and most people, through no fault of their own, still trust the system. That trust is now a liability. There's no clearer example of how the people paying the highest price are the ones with the least power: seniors living on fixed incomes, people with chronic eye conditions, parents trying to save on healthcare, all turning to over-the-counter eye drops, thinking they're safe, thinking they're helping themselves, and instead, they're putting their vision at risk. These aren't people making reckless choices. These are people doing what they're told, following directions, using name brand products from trusted stores, and getting burned for it. It's infuriating, and it's unacceptable, and let's not let the manufacturers off the hook here. The companies behind these products don't get to claim ignorance. They knew where they outsourced their production. They knew the conditions. They knew what they were paying for. They chose to gamble with public health, and they lost. Or rather, we lost. There's a moral responsibility here that goes far beyond regulatory minimums. If you're selling a medical product, it needs to be safe, period. Not just technically compliant, not just likely safe. Safe. Full stop. So what does accountability look like now? First, it means consumers getting loud, demanding answers, filing complaints, sharing their stories, refusing to accept recalls as a substitute for reform. Second, it means boycotting brands that refuse to prioritize safety. If a company cuts corners once, they'll do it again. Hold them accountable where it hurts their profits. Third, it means choosing products with verified safety standards, transparent manufacturing, and single-use preservative-free options that eliminate the risk of contamination between uses. Don't fall for slick packaging or cheap prices. Your vision is not a bargain bin commodity. And finally, talk to your doctor, your ophthalmologist, your pharmacist before you try something new, before you keep using something that's under recall. They're not just there for emergencies. They're your frontline defense against this kind of corporate negligence. There are good products out there. There are safe, effective options, but you have to choose them deliberately, because the system will not choose for you. The system has shown us what it values, and it's not your eyesight. We are at a breaking point. There's no trust left to squander. Regulators need to shift from reactive to proactive enforcement. That means inspecting facilities before outbreaks occur. It means enforcing sterility standards with actual penalties. It means holding manufacturers criminally accountable for preventable harm. harm, not just civil fines, criminal charges. This cannot be the price of doing business, because once the infection spreads, once the blindness sets in, once the drops go from treatment to tragedy, there is no undoing it. One bottle, one drop, 1 second of contact, that's all it takes. And right now, with 6 major brands pulled from shelves, Ezra Care, Delum Pharma, Leader, Clear Eyes, Purely Soothing, and others, you have to ask yourself, what's in your cabinet? Are you sure it's safe? Check the labels, look for the lot numbers, Google the brand, ask your pharmacist. Don't take any chances, because no one else is going to protect your eyes the way you will. This isn't fear-mongering, this is fact. People have died, people have gone blind, and the products that did it were on store shelves last month. We have to start making decisions like the system is broken, because it is. And here's what you can do today. Stop using any of the 6 recalled brands immediately. Check the recall lists for your product's lot number. Dispose of any recalled product safely. Don't pass it along. Report symptoms like redness, pain, blurry vision, or discharge to a doctor. Immediately switch to reputable brands with known safety records like Johnson & Johnson, Alcon, and Allergan. Choose preservative-free, single-use vials when possible to minimize contamination risk. Stay informed by following updates from FDA and CDC recall alerts. Educate others who may still be unaware of the risks. And once again, consult a medical professional before changing your eye care routine or switching products. Your doctor knows your eyes. They know your needs. Don't make decisions alone when the stakes are this high. We shouldn't have to be our own regulators, but right now, we do. So let's do it together. We're not done until this message reaches everyone still unknowingly using these products, because here's the brutal reality. Some of these drops are still on shelves, still available online, still sitting in medicine cabinets across the country, waiting. That's how slow and patchy these recalls are. That's how broken the enforcement system is. You'd think a recall linked to death and blindness would mean an immediate aggressive response. You'd think stores would pull every box, but in many cases, these products are still slipping through the cracks. Recalled lots are being resold. Overstock inventory is getting redistributed. The public isn't being notified fast enough or loud enough, and the silence is costing people their health. Let's be crystal clear. This is not over. More brands could be implicated. More infections could surface. More families could lose loved ones to a contaminated product they thought was harmless. That's what makes this moment so urgent. We are not in cleanup mode. We're still in the middle of the crisis. Every hour these products remain in circulation is another opportunity for someone to be hurt. And if this sounds dramatic, it's because it is. We are talking about a basic expectation that a product meant to treat your eye doesn't cause it to rot out of your skull, that it doesn't send you to the ICU, that it doesn't kill you. That's how low the bar is. And these companies still failed. The worst part, they'll bounce back. Most of these manufacturers will rebrand, they'll relabel, they'll relaunch, they'll tweak a logo and slap on a new and improved sticker, hoping you forget, hoping you don't read the fine print, hoping the lawsuits settle quietly, because in their world, a few million in payouts is just the cost of doing business. The only thing that forces real change is consumer outrage, not quiet concern, not passive awareness, outrage. We've already seen what happens when people don't know better, when they assume a store brand is just as good, when they trust that if a product is on a shelf, it's been vetted. That's a lie, a deadly lie, and it has to end. There are brands out there doing things the right way, companies investing in clean facilities, strict quality control, and transparent testing, brands that publish their safety data, that use sterile packaging, that commit to single-use, preservative-free formats, that reduce risk to near zero, but they aren't always the cheapest, and they don't always get the shelf space. Why? Because cheap sells, and because too many people don't know the risks. Now you do, so you can make better choices. You can protect yourself and your loved ones. You can ask questions at the pharmacy. You can say, is this on the recall list? You can double check lot numbers before opening the bottle. You can scan the packaging for preservatives and manufacturing disclosures. And if you're ever unsure, you don't use it until you've checked with your doctor. That's how we fight back, with vigilance, with information, with refusal, because the next time this happens, and yes, if nothing changes,
There will be a next time. We want to be able to say, not this time, not again. You've already heard the names. Esri Care, Delum Pharma, Leader, Clear Eyes, Purely Soothing. These are the 6 brands publicly named in the recalls tied to contamination, unsterile conditions, and risk of severe infection. But don't stop at the brand name. Check the specific product. Check the lot number.
Look it up on the FDA's website. If it matches, don't even hesitate. Throw it away. And if you've used it recently and are experiencing any symptoms, even mild, see a medical professional immediately. Symptoms to watch for: redness that doesn't go away, pain or discomfort in the eye, blurry vision, or sudden changes in vision, discharge from the eye, swelling, sensitivity to light, or the sensation of a foreign object. Any one of these could be a warning sign of infection, and in cases linked to contaminated drops, those infections can escalate in hours. We are not just protecting our eyes, we are protecting our independence, our quality of life, our ability to drive, work, read, and live fully. You don't realize how much you rely on your vision until something threatens it. This entire situation is a gut punch, a reminder that we are too often left to defend ourselves in a system that refuses to act until it's too late. But now we know better, and now we can act. So do your part.
Look out for the people around you. Warn them. Share this message. Have that uncomfortable conversation with your parents, your partner, your coworkers. Tell them what you've learned. Tell them to check their bottles, because if no one else is going to raise the alarm, we will. And if you found this video helpful, take a second to like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment below if you've had a bad experience with any of these products, or if you just want to raise awareness.
This platform only works if people like you amplify messages that matter.
And as always, before changing anything about your eye care routine, talk to a medical professional. No video, no article, no label can replace personalized medical advice. Your eyes are too important to leave to guesswork. Thank you for staying informed. Thank you for taking this seriously. And thank you for being part of the growing movement demanding better, safer, and accountable health products. Stay safe, stay aware, stay sharp.